I'm 28 years old and I'm watching Fooly Cooly again. This happens on rainy days, and like Naota in the show, my head opens up and things spill forth and onto the carpet before me. I am hit in the head with a large bass guitar named The Past, and I grow horns. They are sharp and poke the phantom bruises tucked deep away in my vault. Mamimi tackles Naota onto the ground under the overpass, and from my head crawls a robot with a familiar face. She was 17 and she had me down in the back seat of her friend's PT Cruiser, and she bites my ears, just like Mamimi. She was 17 and she... The factory smogs into the open air, and I remember the 2 years I worked there. It was a warehouse, but functionally, as in the mutations it imposed on my bones and mind, it was the same thing. And I worked there. I'm 22 again, and I'm working there as the episode continues, camera pulling into the warehouse, which is wrong, and there I am. I'm working, again, just to keep alive. It's another late shift, near 2 a.m., as another truck comes in with mixed product for us to break down, and the trailer sucks us up into its maw, that black box, tearing and smashing our bodies, but also our minds. It irons over them, making them smooth and delicate, only for the bosses to pummel them back into a strange shape. A form of brainwashing that led us to believe that this was all there was. This was all we deserved. All we would get. That poor kid's foot is ran over by a pallet jack that night because it's 2 a.m. and we should have all been let go several hours ago. And yeah, maybe we all had a little sip from Sleepy's flask on our break, but that was only to keep warm on the freezer dock and keep the muscles from locking up. Keep us loose. But God, I had never seen anything like that. He cried that he'd never run again. And we had to keep working. We deserved this, and nothing more than being wrapped, plastic packaged, and shoved high up in the stacks would get us out. The 30 or 40 somethings that made up the grizzled elders of the squad were icons of adulthood, only helping to grind me down to a pragmatic bore, a faux stoic, plucking the same boring food and the same boring coffee from the vending machine in the break room just to sit at the same boring table with the same boring people and cycle the idea through my head over and over again. This is what we deserved. Work, sleep, body aging too fast, shoulder ache that won't go away like a pin is wedged between two imagined bones, drinking too much again because it's 2 p.m. and I have to clock in at 4 p.m. The horn is pressing on something soft. Naota is in his room now. The episode is slipping away from me, and as he goes down the stairs, I stop him. Because I stopped. I stood at the top of my friend's stairs. I had to clock in soon, and I stood there looking down the stairs into the basement, and I thought, I'd rather throw myself down these stairs than go to work today. And I was scared, because it wasn't a joke. There was no one else around. I meant it. Mamimi is on the bridge, and she was 17, pinning me down in the back of her friend's PT Cruiser. The horn presses against the raw spot of my ear where her teeth still reside. But no, I'm not ready for that. I keep watching. It's only 6 episodes. This happens on rainy days. We're on episode 3 now. It's one of my favorites. Nina Mori escapes her house because her family is falling apart, and she is made of stone in the face of it all. I'm 28 and I smile. What an amazing character. As the episode goes on, my head is still open and things can't help but tumble their way down and out and in front of my eyes. I'm still at the warehouse and 22, but I can ignore that for now, because I'm also 16, 1 year younger than she was. And I'm with a face that melts from Nina Mori into Joseph, an old friend. Haven't seen him in years, only that's not true because I'm 16 again and he's right there. He laughs and it's good to see him again. We're at his house, a place with wood floors, with aged paths grooved in by the years of lived space. It all breathes, and for a moment this is one of the good days. But then his mom came home high on something we didn't have a real name for, and she was mad that Joseph was still alive. And to fix that, she made the both of us walk to his grandfather's house and drag a pickaxe and sledgehammer from the tool shed back through the sizzling sun. She said that the porch, which was a big stone slab resting on another stone slab, was going to be fixed, and the stairs needed to be moved. Stone steps, solid all the way through. Basically a big rock carved to be easier to walk up. They need to go, in quotations, because they're her words and not mine. No amount of arguing or questions would persuade her that Joseph was only 16 and didn't choose to be alive on this day. No convincing her that this was the job for several grown men with a truck and a crane. No. I'm 22 again and Joseph is there with me at the warehouse. We're in a trailer of spilled pallets that we have to restack by hand. They're filled with Easter chocolates, and as a stand of defiance, we grab handfuls of the stuff and shove it down our shorts and tuck it into our socks. Afterward, the manager cornered us, and I for sure thought we were going to get canned. But no. Instead, he congratulated us on a job well done. Shook our hands while the chocolate wrappers scraped together in our pockets, louder than any police siren. I think we're somewhere in episode 5 now. I'm thirsty and I can't reach my tea or coffee. I don't remember what I made. I can't get up. I'm stuck. Sinking. Naota cocks the gun in his head and clings to Mamimi. The pressure of the horn on the bruise is enough to open the vault, and from my head crawls my misshapen 14-year-old body. He's scared. I'm scared. Because I'm 14 again and my friend is having a panic attack or something else. I can't tell. He's older than me, so his girlfriend is also older than me, and it was her that brought Naomi. She was 17. I met Naomi when she was 17, and we learned my best friend was bipolar, like diagnosed, in the scariest way for a teenager stuck in the home he was stuck in, and we all didn't know what to do. I can't even remember what led us to be in the same room together when he attempted the things he did. But after that, Naomi took me away. Took as in her fingers wrapped clean around my wrist and pulled me into a car and off we went. Maybe I'm on the last episode now. I can't tell if that's Haruko and Naota leaving or if it's Naomi and me. I shouldn't be dating you, she said. But she insisted, and I didn't know what to do. It was Thursday night, and she snuck in through my bedroom window after her gas station shift. Adult Swim was on, and she nibbled on the softest part of my ear to make sure I stayed awake. This was the entire summer, but the night was the same, glitched and stuck on repeat, bouncing around inside of me, never staying in the vault for long. She groomed me. She wore hoodies in the summer heat and smoked the brand of cigarettes that smelled good to me after the years of secondhand smoke from my mom, so everything about the way she held my hand and never met my eye felt like leaving home. We were in the back seat of her friend's PT Cruiser on a long car ride through the country, and I wanted to leave. But the voices were so loud, and the radio was echoing inside of me, and she ran her hands over the parts of my body I didn't want her to touch, and she blew the smoke in my face, and she groomed me. I'm 14 and my head is splitting down the middle. left and right brain holding together by little strands of sinew. I'm 28 and the ache is like a ghost hugging me from behind. All of this spilled out onto the floor from my skull. All of this mess. We're on the last episode and I stick around with Joseph, smashing the pickaxe down over and over again against the stairs, breaking them bit by bit and piece by piece, filling up our arms with chunks of rock and stone and carrying them into the alley. We didn't talk, and we kept at it until, as the sun was coming down, his mother came back out of the house in a fury, yelling questions about why we were breaking her porch and why we were causing such a racket. Sober, I suppose. But Joseph broke, and in a learned fury threw the sledgehammer and ran off. We went to my house, because at least it was safe. And at least there Joseph could get a meal. And at least there he could shower and play some video games without feeling like his life was nothing but growing hideous Joseph-shaped leeches on his mother's back, which she had him pick off one by one. At least there, the day could melt into our milkshakes and be slurped into the back of our minds. The sugar rush was bitter, though. Because no matter what, when the weekend was over, Joseph would have to go back to that house and live there with his mother until the day his new stepfather convinced her to leave the kids in the house and all their shit and ride a janky motorcycle to the nearest garage drugged in and never come back. But that day was far away, so Joseph grew horns and fought helpless against his age, that fragile number, tearing the flesh off the secret the world tries to hide from all kids and fails to do so over and over again. That adults have no fucking idea what they are doing, and that most people, the majority of fucking kids out there, don't even make it to 5 years old before the world is force-feeding its shit down their throat, and they have no fucking clue what's going on, and that I was lucky. I was so fucking lucky to only be surrounded by the true horror, the true terror, that looking back on it, despite any anger and baggage my parents might have carried into my childhood, they never beat me. They never got so high that I disappeared, and they never abandoned me. And that was lucky. That was a privilege. Now Ita comes down with the double neck guitar, and he's going to smash all of this away. Only it's me, I hope. With this force, I can close it all back up, sweeping the blood and guts back into the vault and be secured. But there's no smash. Now Ita stops and says, "I love you." They kiss, and Adamisk is released, but not on screen, in me, out of me, from the flowing wound left in my skull. The Pirate King climbs out as strong and colorful as the first day I saw him. I was 12 years old, and I was in love. Haruko fell from space and landed around the campfire in my friend's backyard as we were picking at scraps dug out from the back of a garage fridge, trying to find the next joke, the next laugh, anything to keep the vibe going. The winter frost was crawling up our boots, and none of us had the forethought or adult supervision to know that, yes, it gets really fucking cold after the October sun goes down, so we sat there, inching closer to dying flames, hugging embers that leapt out, double dog daring each other to walk the 30 feet down the sloped yard into the woods to grab twigs or sticks or anything that would burn so we could hold the portal to this moment open for just a little longer. She sat maybe too close to me, and that had never happened before. She sat next to me, and instead of inching opposite me towards her brother, she deliberately scooched until the hems of our jeans slid together, locking my bones in place. Inside of me, I felt the NO barrier splitting and opening to let something out, and she brushed my hand, cold and dry. She told me her name, and I remembered what my friend told me long before that if you want a girl to notice you, you must stare directly into her eyes for exactly 10 seconds. Any more and you'd be a weirdo creep bag. Any less and the monkey part of her brain wouldn't receive the message the monkey part of your brain was trying to send. So I turned and I looked and we locked eyes, and I felt the portal open inside my head, unlocked by some mystical blow. I was 12 years old and I was in love. My head cracked open and out came the Pirate King himself, and Haruko stared in awe. That night, when I was 12 years old, I grew horns. I'm 14 and I run from Naomi, literally. I walk home alone and tired, but I ran away and stayed away. I grew horns and I fought her off. I'm 16 and Joseph is my best friend. I open my door and he stays with me for as long as he can. Together, we grow horns. I'm 22 and I'm looking down those stairs and the gun cocks in my head, and I drive to that warehouse and I throw my jersey right at my manager and I quit. I grew fucking horns. I'm 28 and I'm watching it all vanish. The warehouse comes crashing down. Haruko is there, asking if I want to chase after that. All of it. Nothing amazing happens here. Everything is ordinary. We crossed the bridge as usual, and before we knew it, the seasons had changed.